Facial recognition technology is now a tool in security, surveillance, along with law enforcement. Data indicates that the systems possess racial plus gender bias. People of color, in particular black women, face misidentification because of incomplete training data and defects in algorithms. This study examines the origins of bias in facial recognition technology. It also looks at the technical, besides the historical reasons that continue inequality. It investigates how flawed facial recognition technology affects policing, leading to unjustified detentions and violation of rights. The study also considers the moral and legal problems created by AI without restraint. In addition, it also appraises the current actions by the public, institutions, as well as companies. Pathways towards more responsible and fair technology rules are also proposed. The analysis points to the need for control through regulations, plus inclusive planning to stop facial recognition technology from supporting systemic discrimination. Facial recognition technology uses AI, especially machine learning and deep learning, to detect and identify human faces from images or videos. It measures key facial features such as eye distance, jawline, and cheekbones to create a unique face print, which is then matched against a database. Convolutional neural networks, CNNs, process visual data and improve system accuracy by learning from large data sets. Accuracy depends heavily on the diversity and the quality of the training data, which can impact performance across different demographic groups. Facial recognition systems are often less effective identifying people of color, notably black women, because of skewed training data. This data contains a larger number of white and male faces. Gender shade studies showed error rates reached 34.7% for women with dark skin versus less than 1% for men with light skin. This problem reflects a deeper societal issue of inequality. As police agencies employ systems riddled with these types of errors, misidentification often occurs. Over-policing is a direct product of these systems failing. Marginalization spreads in communities facing difficulties. Feedback loops increase the difficulty. Policing data with bias gives input to the algorithm. The process repeats the same discriminatory shapes. Without data from various groups, public data, along with supervision, facial recognition technology keeps racial injustice automatic.
Some of the consequences in law enforcement include the misidentification cases where multiple wrongful arrests, such as Robert Williams and Aegir Parks, were caused by inaccurate FRT machines. There's also automatic bias, where law enforcement officers often over-rely on algorithmic output, treating it as conclusive evidence. Also, disproportionate surveillance, where communities of color, specifically black and brown neighborhoods, face heightened and often unjustified surveillance. There's also chilling effect, which is the widespread surveillance discouraged civic participation, including protest and religious activities. And lack of oversight, where many departments use FRT without public knowledge or standardized procedures. Facial recognition technology raises major ethical concerns about consent, fairness, and accountability, particularly for marginalized communities who are often most affected but the least consulted. Those misidentified by algorithms face significant challenges correcting errors due to lack of transparency. Legally, the U.S. lacks clear federal regulation allowing law enforcement to use FRT with little oversight, while courts have yet to fully define its constitutional limits. In contrast, the EU treats facial recognition as a high risk and enforces stronger protections under the AI Act. Several U.S. cities have implemented bans on facial recognition technology, citing concerns over privacy, bias, and lack of oversight, while tech companies like IBM and Amazon have paused FRT use under public pressure, though this might not be enough to make a lasting impact. Advocacy groups such as the ACLU and the Algorithmic Justice League have also driven public awareness and legal challenges. Globally, responses vary. The EU moves towards stricter regulation, while other countries expand FRT use despite civil liberty concerns. Addressing bias in facial recognition requires both technical fixes, like using diverse training data and regular audits, and strong legal safeguards, such as mandatory human review and privacy protections. Policymakers should require impact assessment before deploying FRT in vulnerable communities and regulate how biometric data is stored and accessed. While some advocate for a full moratorium, others support strict regulation, but all agree that affected communities must be involved in decision-making. Facial recognition technology has the potential to improve safety, but in its current form, it too often amplifies racial injustice. Biased data sets, lack of oversight, and overall reliance by law enforcement put vulnerable communities at risk. True progress requires more than better code. It requires ethical governance, community input, and legal accountability. We must decide not only how we use FRT, but whether we should use it at all, and who gets to decide. Without meaningful safeguards, FRT risks becoming a tool of surveillance rather than justice. The future of this technology depends on whether we can censor human rights and equity in its design and deployment.